too taboo.
Hello everyone, Revenue Hacks here, and we're talking today about mastering revenue management with reduced workforce. Happy to introduce our team today. So I'll start with myself. My name is Anna, I'm Operations Manager at Harbour Hotel, Harbour Hotels Group. And we will go around, starting with Marianna. So we'll just quickly introduce everyone.
Hi everybody, so this is Marianna. I'm working at RateGain and I manage the team for customer success. So the account management team, we take care of our onboarded customers so they love and stay with us forever.
Thank you, Niels.
Hi, I'm Niels. I'm with Cendyn. We do everything to keep your guest informed and keep your guest happy for hotels. I do solution consulting, so I sit between the sales and development and do anything to do with technical translation. Let's put it like that.
Thank you very much, Niels. Dermot.
Hi everybody, my name is Dermot. I am a commercial and revenue consultant based in Ireland, focusing on independent hotels and hotel groups, driving the tech influence in.
Perfect. And Guillermo.
Hi, my name is Guillermo. I'm working for Iran. We are apartments and per hotel company, and I do cluster revenue manager for the properties across region and Europe.
Perfect. So we're talking about mastering revenue management, and in the current situation when we almost everyone, short on staff, reduced workforce, post-pandemic situation. So hope to hear some ideas or answers what we can do to increase the revenue and to maybe get staff, more money, increase.
Sell more rooms at higher rates, right?
Yeah. So maybe let's start with Marianna. Marianna, what's your take on that?
I think my take on that would be automations. Automate. Wherever you can. Everybody has less hands available. Things that back then made sense to be personalized and to have someone taking care of it now need to be relooked in and automated. Coming from tax side of the industry, working on helping on that side, I think a huge differentiator that can help bring revenue would be content, right? Mm-hmm. So I know, it's not that I think, I know that most people out there right now are doing it manually from on their different channels. And then that's something that can be automated directly from your CRS to all of the selling points that you have connected there. I mean, that's for me at this point, a no-brainer that can help you be better visualized on the internet. You can get an advantage on we're COVID safe. Let's put it out there. We're good. Come to us. I think those type of messages that you cannot just do a Google Ads on it. I'm not going to do a Google Ads based on I'm COVID safe, but putting out there that we have everything in place for a safe stay makes a huge difference on the online booking, whether it's your direct channel or an OTA.
Perfect. Yeah, Neil?
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think automation is a definite step in the right direction. I think the one thing that you need to be careful about, and I've spoken to many hoteliers in the past, and they always say, "Oh yes, I need automation and I need to automate." But I think you need to ask yourself, what do you really want to achieve before you start automating, right? And rather than sort of jumping on a nice to hear story and something that sounds great. And that promises to deliver you revenue, you really need to look at yourself and say, okay, where do I need that automation and what can I achieve? And there's a book which I read one day, which was one of the rowers in the Olympic team of the UK. And it basically, the title is, Will it make the boat go faster? And I think that's a great motto, because if you're looking at trying to improve, your service, trying to improve your revenue performance. Automating things is great, but does it make the boat go faster? Does it make the hotel more profitable? Does it make you more efficient? And that's something that you need to ask yourself, because sometimes you will actually see that automation causes other things to become more work. So it might alleviate work in certain areas, but then create more work in other areas. And that's what you need to be very careful of. But I think in theory, automation is very good, but you need to have a very good plan and understand what you want to achieve before you do so.
Yeah, basically, look at what you do repeatedly all the time. And if you can automate that go with that, instead of just trying to automate for the sake of automation and bringing new technologies. Just make sure, for example, I don't know, if you're printing 10,000 reports on a daily basis, then just try to automate that first. Yeah, completely.
Yeah, but
Completely.
Niels, don't you think that at the same time you're facing new challenge every day? So you maybe have the protocol that Marianna was saying, or a new client is asking for something different that you didn't have automation yet, and you therefore wanted to actualize. So I think tools need to be automated, but also the integration of them have to be a strength, more like really, really worth it, and then like theories and so on to try to connect your data from maybe customers to track it to add value to your daily rooms, so on.
No, I think it's a very good point. Sorry, Dermot, you go ahead.
No, it's let the systems do what they do, though. At the same time, it's all great to automate it, but then stop manually overriding stuff at the same time. You see it with the RMSs, you see it with any of the distribution channels. The more we input, then the more it's going to make mistakes and end up fixing in the long. It's going to cost more time in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think Guillermo.
Sorry.
And I just saw Julie Greaves' note. I think she makes an excellent point and very similar to what you're saying, Guillermo. When you one of the great examples is we supply CRM, and one of the things we do is personalized reservation confirmation emails, modification emails. So it's actually personalized to the person. Now, the big issue that you have is, as you said, Anna and Guillermo, the things are changing all the time, right? You get, COVID restrictions, we have mask mandates and stuff like that. So you're having to update that all the time. And, you see in a lot of cases with CRMs, you'll see that you have to go back to the CRM supplier in order to get that changed. So that's something that, if that's not something that you can do yourself, then it actually becomes much more cumbersome. And although it potentially would be a great revenue generator, it turns out to be something that actually causes more pain than anything else. So having the ability to do that yourself, and that's again, going back to that, if you're going to automate, think about what you're trying to achieve, and think about what the reactions are to implementing it, and the results are of implementing it. So that's a very important thing.
So I think, Niels, on what you were saying, it's crucial that you choose wisely what you're automating and with whom. Who is your partner? Do you get that sense of, can I do it myself? I don't need an account manager. I don't need someone else to act for me. And where I'm coming from what we're putting on the market right now. So we're putting content automation on the market. And indeed, it is a self-managed tool where you go and you can, if your CRS is good enough and gives you access to manage all this information yourself, great, let's integrate. Your CRS doesn't allow you, let's do it on the tool, distribute to all of the other channels, and your CRS can be plugged on the back end as a receiving channel of that information. So there's plenty of ways of automating. Of course, automating is great, but when you think it through, when it makes sense, and in the terms of content and the constant changes, I think it could make the boat go faster, in the sense that I don't need 10 people to go to the 20 different channels that I have right now to do those overrides of okay, today we have this restriction, tomorrow I have this one, this is how I'm managing right now, this is how I'm going to manage tomorrow. So that's where I was coming from.
Yeah, and exactly. So it has to be simple to use, so it should be very quickly. We should be able to learn it very quickly and train very quickly, especially with the staff shortages. So we get people turnaround.
Yeah.
We want very quickly to train somebody on a new system, and it's useless if we have automation of something that we don't update, don't implement, and it needs to go back, and then very hard to train on it.
Yeah, I do agree with Marianna there, but also the thing is like, I believe that sometimes you take decision rush. So people actually, they implementing tool, but they don't know how the tool actually works at all. Maybe they know, but they don't know the full potential of the tool, and therefore you actually, and as Dermot say, much of the time overriding an automatic tool that uses the power of it.
And it's one of the biggest things I see a lot of. It's that project management between the systems and the property, that most of the time with the property, you're a revenue manager, front office manager, they're not that tech savvy at the end of the day, most of them. So it's that plug that you're not achieving 70% of what the system can actually do for you.
Yeah.
So it's you've invested and you're not getting your max investment out of it either.
Yeah. But I think it's, Guillermo, you're absolutely right. Getting that buy-in from staff is so crucial, because, you know, I've seen so many times that something got implemented top down and that there was huge resistance from the staff. And then you basically, what you're trying to achieve is help the staff, but you actually end up having the staff work against you, which is something which you really need to avoid. And it's making sure that you communicate that to the staff, and you have the staff involved in that decision-making process, because that also gives them some ownership in that, the adoption of that solution that you're trying to put in.
Yeah, to help them to actually focus on guests, to focus on something else instead of actually focusing on the system. And I've seen it sometimes when people implement something and you need a new member of staff to actually operate the new implemented system. That's very important. I really like the comment about it from Siobhan, I think. Sorry. She was saying that monotonous tasks can be put through on automation rules, allowing your revenue managers find the time to look at the more important areas of the business. Yes, absolutely. So the next one then from here. So we were talking about automation and the tasks. So back to basics then. So what kind of tasks we can automate? So what we can do quicker? Who would like to jump on that one?
I think some of it isn't necessarily what we can do quicker. It's what stuff we're not doing that's letting low-hanging fruit drip away is the bigger issue. It is those free upgrades and closing off suites if your suite inventory is low. It's breaking down that silo that's always there between reservations and front desk. Front desk need to be able to fundamentally take a booking using the PMS instead of reverting to brand.com to put the query through, which is, let's get real, it happens in 95% of hotels. It's bringing that together, but then most of the time, some hotels I've been into, sort of, they don't even know how to do it. They've never been into reservations. It's that communication of sort of, it's our information reservations, we can't share it, which causes a massive impact on it. But then at the same time, I was dealing with something recently, and it's making sure that booking engine is up to date. Again, it's part of that automation, but let's not have dead packages on websites. Let's make sure that customer journey is part of that flip. It's you really have to stop and take that little minute. Let's not do meetings and commercial meetings that drag on and on and on. Let's agree, do, and actually action. It's that full cycle is pivotal at the moment.
Yeah. It reminds me actually, Dermot, I was working in a hotel, and we used to have the morning meeting was a meeting of about an hour, and we used to bring in coffee and croissants and everything. And we got a new GM, and he said, "Okay, we're changing this." So it was a 5-minute meeting outside of his office. So that was a big slap in the face for some people, but it was so much more effective. And I think we sometimes have meetings just to have meetings, and it's important. But leading on from that, when you talked about upgrades, I think one of the easiest wins for hoteliers is room type sales, and I think room type sales is something that's so underestimated, and you don't need a revenue management system for it. If you've got family rooms, if you're in a city center, you know that during business weeks, those family rooms are not selling. Reduce them to the same rate as a normal room in the same room category. Over the weekend, you increase that price, and over holidays, you increase that price. There's so few hotels that actually do that. It's not a lot of work, but if you do that in advance, it really can help you make those huge. Yeah, absolutely, that huge difference. And the same
you can
for
even preset some derivatives already for the weekdays versus weekends on your CRM or on your channel manager. It's something that takes very, very little to manage in that sense.
Yeah.
And also Dermo, as you were saying, like this control of the reservations to upgrade, downgrade, and so on, is also something that even for the customer side sometimes is missing. The opportunity of the same customer as the integration of the system is limited. They cannot do even upgrade themselves. We some PMS are sometimes so restricted that they don't allow to guests to modify reservations even up on the future. So I think that's something we're missing as a hospitality industry. Like the PMS are more evolutionary in so many houses that we're missing revenue opportunities so many times.
But it's you hit the missing revenue. I was booking a hotel room for Dublin for a night next week, and I went as usual to booking.com just to see. I found what I wanted. I had my Genius 2. I rang the hotel. I said, I'm on booking.com. I have my Genius 2 15%. Can you match the rate? No. I'm like, seriously. It's a cost. We need to. It's not just the revenue management aspect. Let's manage those costs as well. I had a quick look at Pig's Back this morning. Here, sort of Groupon style packages, and it's trying to buy one of those for friends next week. Again, same thing. Can you match it? No. I mean, let's come on. It's nobody. We're the first week of December. Nobody's at a decent occupancy right now in most markets. Let's maximize what we can. Give the front desk, but it's a fear factor of retribution. Then if that is, they're going, no, why'd you take it that way? Let's give front desk and reservations that.
But it's also training of your staff. It's making sure that they understand how the revenue management or how the revenue manager operates, where they're getting prices from, how Booking.com gets their prices from, how this works, and what comes in the end. So unfortunately, probably that person was just scared to do a discount or just to match the rate. When in actual fact, it's a training issue, and we just have to make sure that we break the silos, we talk to all of the staff, we talk to all of the managers. Start to hear.
But it's interesting because Groupon. I always laugh about Groupon because the real value in Groupon is the non-consumed Groupon vouchers, right? That's where the biggest value lies in Groupon, because I think it's something like at least a third of Groupon vouchers never gets redeemed. So you basically get the money, you receive the money, but you don't have to to offer the service. So but I think with Booking.com there's no doubt about the front desk should be instructed to match that rate, and in all honesty, you shouldn't have a different rates on a different channel. So having, and I also don't believe in geofencing. I think pricing is one thing, but I think people will find out, and it will create not create a lot of goodwill if you suddenly have different prices at the same time based on your location, etc. So I think that's one thing to avoid at all costs. But that also leads me to competitor rates, and I think that's something that you wanted to discuss, right, Marianna? Those competitor rates. Should you really match your competitor rates? And yesterday, or Monday, sorry, I was actually invited by Michael Hayward to do a presentation for some master students of Lyon University or hotel school, and I always like to do a little bit of a test, and I said, listen, I want you to look for the second week of December and find a 3-star hotel in Prague to take your partner or your friends for a weekend away, and I want you to come up with 3 alternatives. And we're a group full of students, or a room full of students, and everybody went off, and you come back with a whole variety of hotels, because in theory they're the same demographic, they're the same target market, they're the same market segment. Yet if you in a group of students have 20, 30, 40 different hotels that come up as an alternative, how can that hotel next door be your competitor? How can that hotel 2 streets further be your competitor if everybody that actually chooses a hotel has very specific requirements and desires themselves? And actually, that hotel that you considered your major competitor might actually not even be an option for that person, right? Yeah. And that's where I always have a problem with revenue management systems that benchmark off competitor rates, because I think that's totally irrelevant. Because what you should do is be looking at, what business is coming into your hotel. If you see demand going down, that's an indication that there's a slowing of demand. Potentially dropping your rate is going to push that demand, but it might also not. And I think with COVID, people have dropped their rates quite aggressively. Yet we have higher costs because cleaning, etc., has become more expensive. Let's face it. So I actually think that if you communicate correctly, and that's communication is huge, and say, listen, I'm putting all this effort into making sure that you're safe. That's why I'm charging a little bit extra, but with us, you're safe. That kind of messaging could actually be much more beneficial than saying I match my competitor's rate.
Yeah, but Niels, did you give to all the students the same budget?
Yeah, I said they had no budget. Yeah, I only stipulated the weekend. I stipulated it had to be in Prague city center, and I stipulated that had to be 3-star. That's the only stipulation I gave. So no budget, so they could choose whatever they wanted. But
I think that would be not the reality. The budget is limited, so I think that would be your first segmentation already there. Like budget-wise, you will have people looking for. But yeah, I do agree, Niels, with you. The value of the product is first thing you want to look. The communication and how displayed this communication and so on, and then you will try to match this value with your budget. So yeah. Kind of.
Yeah, this is knowing your customer, knowing your guest. So you have to know who you're selling to in order to be able to do the best offer. And maybe, I don't know, different comp sets for different markets as well. Marianna?
Perhaps looking into market demand, not only a comp set. I mean, there are tools right now that can tell you inbound flights, that can tell you how much of the booking on the neighborhood or on the city that you're located in, it's coming in. You don't actually look, you 3-star hotel and a 4-star hotel, there is a difference. So many times a 4-star hotel would never consider a 3-star hotel their competitor and would never add them to their competitive set because I'm above them, I'm better, I give better. But someone that is looking for a location wouldn't really matter if it's a 3-star hotel or 4-star hotel, as long as I have the services that I look for. If I'm going for somewhere that I really want to be out there, like I'm going to Rome, I'm not going to stay in my room the whole day. So my room doesn't have tea and coffee. Okay, fine. I'll book that room anyway because I'm not going to be in the room. So there are so many things, so many variables that we need to take care, rather than just going to the price war. Okay, the hotel next door put their prices down, I'm going to put my prices down. the hotel near the beach is selling higher, so I'm near the beach too, I'm gonna put my prices up. So that's not exactly what we should mean. And it worries me that with the COVID, we've seen a lot of the prices going insanely down.
Yeah.
When nobody left the house, everybody has a higher budget to travel right now than ever. So shouldn't we all be taking advantage of that? Like, you didn't spend money on a coffee outside of your house for 6 months. You have enough money to travel. Let's not drop the price.
You touched on it. We should stop reverse building completely. That's not the way to go. I don't think everyone's going to recover by doing this. So, what are your comments on that? So, how? Because I see it everywhere. So, yeah, competitor drop the rate. Let's drop it.
So I
It's
think
not revenue
a
management.
much better way to retain or to attract demand would be a good meta search strategy, a good advertise placement, SEO, SEA. So all of that is gonna put your property at the right audience, well visible in front of that student that is trying to book a room in Prague. That's what you need to do, rather than, okay, I'm gonna put my price 10 euros down because it's I'm gonna be showing that I'm gonna be less expensive than my neighbor. I think it's I would definitely understand that we all have budgets and we all have issues. It's not the right time to go to your general manager and say, hey, give me 10K so I'll put on a marketing campaign. But if you don't commit to the amazing crazy budget, and if you do your market research well, that can pay off 1,000 times better than lowering your rates, for sure.
But I think as we move into winter, it's use your internal data. Look at what stayed with you for the last 2 years. Really understand, what have they spent? Where have they spent? What's the ancillary spent? Have they just come in, slept and left for the day? Or are they actually staying in-house and using the facilities? That measure needs to really be looked at as well out there. And there's a lot of money in that once you tack that repeat guest as well.
Yeah, and there is a lot of departments like digital can help you with some really nice Google data. The thing is, we are not integrating all of them to do the right segmentations on time. Christina was saying that it's not all about pricing, and I do agree. And now with the labor force, we're talking about the less people employ and that increase of wages for housekeeping, so on. Well, maybe we need to look for another segmentation and start to looking by GOP and say, okay, what is really profitable market is OTA. Maybe OTA is super good in awareness on the weekend, but maybe it's so expensive that actually is less productive than any other during a weekday stay on. So yeah, I think we will need to change also the mind there.
Yeah, we also Neil.
No, I'm just saying, you're singing from my hymn sheet. I've been saying for 10 years that segmentation in hotel hospitality is completely outdated. We need to move away from segmentation. We need to look at our guests, and our guests are our segments, and every guest is slightly different from another guest, and you cannot just categorize them into segments. Yes, I understand that you need to do it for forecasting and budgeting, etc. But at the same time, when we're targeting our guests, it's like you said, Marianna, it's reaching out to your guests, and Dermot, using your own data. It's not just your own guests, but you can use lookalike modeling in order to find right target markets, let's say on Facebook or Instagram, etc., and reach out to similar guests that have stayed with you. But it's finding guests that want to stay at your hotel, because the last thing you want is, if you've got a very trendy hip hotel, to start reaching out to 70, 80-year-olds that are used to staying at the Ritz and that want to have a jacket and tie when they go for dinner. Because they're just going to leave deeply unhappy and leave you horrible TripAdvisor reviews, right? Exactly. So, But sorry,
So I just wanted to add, yes, guests. So if we have the guest in house, we very often forget about what else we can do, and we forget about the add-ons. So most of the hotels, they have restaurants. So how we can apply revenue management to the restaurant. So we can use exactly the same strategies. Spa. When is the peak time in the spa? So maybe increase your fee during those time, or decrease, or look at those outlets. So any comments on that?
Absolutely. Yeah, spa management, it's massive. Watch those peak times. Stop taking the nails and the eyebrows. Stop taking those 15-minute treatments. Focus on those higher value treatments. Match the product. Look at product revenue sales as well from the therapists. If you don't have a commission program in place, get one in. Market research those, because I've heard of some where they've gone really aggressive on those recently. And therapists are in short call at the moment. So it is a payroll adjustment, but right now, if you don't have a therapist, you can't do treatments. F&B, that's where the automation comes in. Give them the order taking tablets. Because over the last few weeks, I've been between Abu Dhabi, Dubai, London, around Ireland. I have had F&B checks given to me with items missing off it. Those are the restaurants where they were taking pen and paper or trying to remember the order. Everywhere else where I've had a tech, the bill has been correct. Low-hanging fruit, revenue walking straight out the door. We were in a bar recently in London. There was 3 staff for 46 tables, and they kept taking more tables walking in the door. There's a capacity issue with the staffing. Learn. It's the same as the rooms. Learn your capacity. Know when to say no to guarantee and protect the revenue instead of having costs walk out.
But there is this tool that actually allow us to benefit from F&B, because I believe it's not just F&B, it's anything we have is customize your room, even your hotel. Everything should be able to sell. It's just the value that someone is willing to pay for something. And have a tool that actually you can in a dynamic way allocate even the pillows that maybe you have 5 pillows that they have like whatever for the customer is essential, and the others are not. So why not yielding on them to and all the ancillary revenue is a massive win to win now for myself and I think for any hotel.
Where do you draw the line though? Because I've even seen hotels charging different prices for different products in the room. So the amenities that you normally have, like for showering, for everything, if you want a certain brand or if you want something different, you'd pay a premium or something. That's where, for me as a guest, it becomes tacky. And it's like, really, you're trying to charge every step of my stay with you? So I think there is somewhere from the consumer's view that we need to draw a line where it's safe to become a revenue driven activity, or we have to stop.
Yeah, it depends what kind of hotel you are, right? Because if you're like a high-end 5-star luxury hotel, then that's offering those amenities for different brands could be could be something as a nice service. But
so I would understand if I'm in a 5-star hotel and you're offering me a super nice amenity, and I can buy the amenity and take it home with me because I loved it. I enjoyed it, and then the hotel is their own brand. There are chains out there that have their own brand, and they make revenue based on that and on selling those products. But
I think it comes down to. I think it comes down to communication, and I think I understand, where you're coming from, but I also think there are people that potentially would like it, and I think if it works, and you can always try it, right? And if it doesn't work, you just pull the plug on it. One thing that one initiative that I saw at one hotel that I thought was great. They actually partnered with some local shops. There was a butcher, they had a cheese or deli, and then like a local crafts boutique that did like crockery and things like that. And they basically had an online store from the hotel, so you could buy hotel products, but you also could buy like specialty, hams and things like that from the different suppliers. And basically, the hotel took a commission, and those companies basically took care of all the shipping and everything. So it was actually a nice revenue generator for that hotel, because they could basically take commission.
Good.
They didn't have to do anything, just put it on their website and have it there. And it actually worked quite well. And they made quite a significant amount of money, more than I expected from that venture.
China was working in a kind of a strategy that was digital China and so on. That is an app where customers or any tourists are traveling within the city, they will do loan on the app, so they could do whatever they want and go across the places just with the same app, paying and so on. So if we as hotel, we are able to give something like you can connect with different museums and so on. Everything that you get is an opportunity for that. So, and you're adding a value all the time, Marianna, to that. Like as you said, adding a customer experience along the journey that you don't even need to change your coins, like you pay in Tilokee, you pay euro, whatever. So.
So agree. I was mainly talking about in-house experiences where you mentioned, right, the set of pillows that we will charge for the set of pillows. For me, in a certain level of 5-star, really top property works, charging for a set of pillows on a 3-star, no. So we need to review what we're offering and think about what we're doing, not to become from the eyes of the consumer greedy.
But all is about demand, no? If you don't have demand, you don't charge. If you have extremely demand, you charge. If they are willing to pay, you sell it. If they don't want to pay, you give it.
Yes, but I just say that sometimes people just add this because we can make money. But for some markets or for some types of properties, it doesn't make sense. That we need to draw a line and have a specific strategy behind what is being done.
Yeah.
And then have actual staff to work on it, because if you're giving the service and like the pillow service, right? It's something that you have to have someone that brings the pillow in, but that person needs to be trained. They know that they need to charge a fee to the room for that. I cannot even think of the amount of times those type of services are given and not charged for.
Yeah.
Because of training, because of capacity of the people working on it.
There's one experience I once had that I thought was the ultimate upselling experience from a guest perspective. I was actually staying in a hotel in Berlin. It was 5-star. Yes, they had staff levels to be able to manage it. But I walked into the hotel, checked in at the front desk, and the desk agent immediately said to me, have you booked a table in our restaurant for tonight? Because for this 2 weeks, we have a special guest chef cooking. You need to make that reservation because it's going to be these are the only 2 weeks you're ever going to be able to experience that chef in our hotel. So it's going to be very special and very unique. I hate eating in restaurants by myself. I was by myself, so I said, thank you very much. I declined it. Then I walked into the lift, and it was one of those where the bellboy basically had the suitcase, and bellboy actually joined me in the lift and then started talking to me about the special cocktail they had in the bar, and said, you need to go down to the bar and you need to try that cocktail. It's absolutely fantastic. I actually have to admit, that's one thing I did do. I went down and I tried that cocktail, and it was very good. But then I got to my room. I ordered room service. My room service came about 20 minutes after it was delivered. I just ordered main course and a bottle of water or beer, I can't remember. But 20 minutes later, I got a phone call from room service saying, can we come and take your plate? And would you like us to bring up a dessert? And everything was geared towards selling. And every person I spoke to had this commercial brain. And when I actually then walked into the staff canteen the next day, they had a big chart on the wall showing, the budget, where they were sitting. Everything was shared with the people. The general manager actually had every head of department had to give their input into the revenue meeting at least once a month, and they had to come up with an idea on how to make more revenue. That was the chief stewards, the executive housekeeping, the head of maintenance, everybody. It was actually the executive housekeeper that had suggested for the bellboy to actually recommend that cocktail in the lift while they were going up with the guests. So that bellboy was basically a standard sentence that they would, speak to any guest that came in, and would recommend that, and it worked really well. So it actually, they could actually see that drove revenue, and it was something that executive housekeeper was extremely proud of. And I think involving your staff and getting them behind the idea of how to make more revenue and getting them involved, I think is a huge one.
Absolutely pivotal.
It sounds as well. Yes, they know their numbers, they don't know their revenue, but they've also driven to enhance your experience, and that's what's extremely important. So they know by doing that, you will enjoy that cocktail, you will enjoy the dessert. So they're proud to offer that. So they enhance your experience, they bring something extra, also driving the revenue.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it comes down to selecting the right people to work with you and having a strong training mind that everybody needs to be aware of. I cannot think of how many times there is a flash sale online that the receptionist is not aware of.
Yeah.
So it's communication is the key for sure.
Yeah,
for those
flash
amazing
sale,
experiences.
just for the sake of the flash sale, doesn't make any sense. So, yeah.
It depends, because if you get a call from that during the night, you there's a flash sale during the night. You get a call. You from desk, you have no idea of that flash sale.
Yeah.
How are you going to be able to help selling that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's have a look if we have any questions, because we have a couple of minutes. Accommodation providers. Yeah, we don't really have that many questions. Loads of really good comments. I loved all of the comments from Christina.
But Niels, just adding on that, and I think we should be more like Amazon. Like, if you like that, maybe you like this one. But are we able to communicate with the guests?
I don't agree with that at all.
No?
I think Amazon makes an absolute mess of things. Amazon always advertises everything that I've just bought. So whenever I buy something on Amazon, for weeks after I've bought it, I still get recommended products that are similar to that or the same product. And I'm not interested in it anymore. And that's where I think we need to learn, and we need to go back to our guests with what they want. And if they've booked a hotel room, then we pull our hands off and we don't say, do you want to buy that package? Because we know they've booked. We've got that information in our system. And if you have a good automated system, you should be able to filter out anybody that has made a booking, especially linked to a specific package or for a period that you're advertising for. And that should be on your website. That could be on your communication, your marketing communication. But we should be able to, say, okay, they've booked. Let's stay away from them now, right? The only thing that I think that we can do better is, when it comes to OTAs, targeting those guests that have booked via the OTA to try and get them to book direct. Right, I think that's something that the OTAs give us that email address that we can use for 5 days. Use that email address, send out that upgrade email, and put a link to your portal in there. Say, listen, if you sign up to our portal, you'll get our newsletter, and you'll get a 10% discount on the bar rates when you book.
Yeah.
And people will sign up to that. And yes, they might not book in the future. But, the people that do book will come to your website, will book direct, so you don't have that cost associated to the OTA booking. And I think that's something that is that we're missing out on. and again is a huge revenue driver because or a cost reducer because you're reducing OTA costs, right?
Absolutely.
Massively.
Yeah. Everything we can do to move on. Drive direct.
Thank God we don't have anybody from OTAs in the panel today.
Okay, so I think we're just running out of time now. Thank you very much, everyone. So if anyone from audience got any questions, feel free to put the questions after we finish as well. We'll go back to you definitely. And see you next time. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
My world will never ever leave you in doubt. I don't see what all the fuss is about. I didn't know I had to watch my tongue. Now you know that I'm a loaded gun. Yeah, you know it's true. I'm too taboo.